Hey everyone, we're going to go live with Dragon's Oath by PC Cast and Kristen Cast. Dragon's Oath, the Husband Night novel. Um, let's see what happens to Dragon Lantford when he got onto the dragon ship. Okay. Chapter 3. Tower Grove House of Night, St. Louis, 1833. Marry me, Anastasia. Please do come in. It is a notorious consequence that you are here. Diana and I are just discussing how happy we are to have such a young priestess of spells and rituals join the school as full professor, and I was going to call for you to tell you how pleased I am by how well you are fitting in here at Tower Grove. Marry me, Pandora, Diana, Anastasia said, fisting her right hand over her heart and bowing her head respectfully first to her high priestess, Pandora, and then to Diana before she entered the Lord's beautiful appointed room. Oh, come now. You needn't be so formal with us when we are not in the company of fledglings. Diana, professor of vampires, Sagittarius, and the high priestess mate spoke warmly to Anastasia, as she stroked a very fat calico cat that spilled across her lap, purring loudly. Thank you, Anastasia said in a quiet voice that sounded older than her 22 years. Diane smiled. So tell us, though. You've only been here for a fortnight, and you are already becoming settled. Does it seem like home for you yet? Home, Anastasia thought automatically, had never been filled with such beauty and such freedom. She quickly shook the thoughts away and said politely and honestly, it is not quite home yet, but I can feel that it will be. I do love the prairie and the lush gardens. Her gaze went to the fat cackle and then to the gray tiger-striped male that had began to wind up the high priestess's leg. And she blinked in surprise as she saw that both of the cats had 6 toes on each front paw. 6 toes? I had never seen such a thing. Donna tugged at one of the cackle's paws playfully, some saying polydactyls are abnormal or nutrition I just ever the normal like very more than the normal humans. My, there ain't so much of where she can take a lot and that is not food. And of course, I am enjoying my students in my new classroom very much. It makes me very happy to hear you say so. And Dana said, laughing softly. And there is nothing wrong with wishing for a cat 6 toes or otherwise, young Anastasia. Diana and I were about to take our ice wine on the balcony. Please join us. I am grateful for your invitation, Anastasia said humbly, and reminded herself not to say anything silly. She followed the women in their cats as they opened the French doors and stepped out onto a lovely moonlit-bathed balcony sat on which sat white wicker chairs and a matching table that was laden with a crystal vase etched with a perfect crescent moon and filled with a fragrant red roses alongside a silver bucket brimmed with ice and a cracker in the color of ripe cherries. Steamware etched with crescent moons that matched the gorgeous vase glistened in the silver light of the full moon. Roses ice, wine, and crystal. I'm accustomed to simplify, simplicity and rules, though both have been tempered with love. Will I ever get used to such luxuries? Anastasia pondered, feeling utterly uncomfortable as she sat in one of the chairs and tried not to soothe her back, her long blonde hair, or obviously straightening her dress. And she thought she shot to her face. I should pour for you, priestess, she said, smiling nervously up at the tall, struggling, mature high priestess. Pandora laughed and gently slightly her hand away from the carefree. Anastasia, daughter, please sit and compose yourself. I am a high priestess, which means I am more than capable of pouring wine for myself and my guests. Diane kissed her maid softly on the cheek before she took her own seat. You, my darling, are more than capable of many, many things. Anastasia saw the color in Pandora's cheeks hiding over so slightly as the couple shared an intimate look. Anastasia's own cheeks warmed as she witnessed the exchange as she looked quickly away, though she spent the past 6 years immersed in House of Knight society, first as a freeman, then as a high priestess in training. Now as a professor, she still sometimes found their open sexuality surprising. She often wondered what her mother would think of this female-empowered society. Would she accept it in the quiet, private way she had her daughter marked and changed? Or would it be too much for her, too shocking, and would she condemn it as the rest of the community would? Are we embarrassing you? Diana asked as she a smile in her voice. Anastasia shifted her gaze quickly back to her high priestess and her maid. Oh, land sakes alive. Oh, land sakes alive. No, she blurted, and then felt her face flush fully hot, and she knew it must have been flaming red. She sounded just like her mother, and knowing that made her want to crawl under the table and disappear. You are no longer a quiet, longer a shy, crooked girl, Anastasia reminded herself firmly. You are a fully changed vampire, professor and priestess. She lifted her chin and attempted to look confident and mature. Pandana smiled kindly at her and raised one of the three crystal goblets she just filled. I would like to propose a toast to your success, Anastasia, in the completion of your first fortnight of teaching as professor of spells and rituals. May you come to love Tower Grove of Night as much as we love it. The high priestess lifted her hand silently. She made a sweeping movement over the bouquet of roses. She was calling left the same for the homes. Each of the three glass swollen just for an instant. When the swollen liquid there appeared in the shape of a perfect rose blossom. Oh goodness, the rose spirit. You made it appear in our glass, in our wine, Anastasia blurted. Pandora did not make the rose spirit appear. The spirit is her affection. Our high priestess made a loving request in celebration of you, young Anastasia, and the rose happily complied, Diana explained. Anastasia exhaled a long breath. All of this. She paused, and her gaze took in the table the two vampires, their content cats, and the exalted state that surrounded them. It fills me with such feeling that it is as far as my heart seems ready to burst from my chest. Then she cringed in embarrassment. Forgive me. I sound like a child. That I am grateful to be here, grateful that you chose me to join the House of Night as your professor. I shall share a secret with you, Anastasia. Pandora scared. The Fancy has made many vampires who are much older and more experienced than you feel as if their hearts might burst, Diana said. Only they were too jaded to admit it. I like your honesty. Don't lose it at your age. I'll try not to, Anastasia said, and took a quick gulp of her wine as she tried to order her thoughts to decide exactly how she would reveal to Diana and Diana the true reason she had to come to them this night. Then she was sorry she gulped the wine. It was, of course, laced with blood, and the power of it sizzled through her body, heightening her nerves along with the rest of her senses. I too like your honesty, the high priestess said to Anastasia, between her sips of her own wines, which seemed not to affect her at all. It was one of the reasons we chose you to fill our professional vacancy, even though you only have 2 years of formal training in spells and rituals. You should know that you came very highly recommended from the Pennsylvania. However, my mentor was kind, priestess, Anastasia said, slamming her goblet back on the table. I also recall she said you were closely allied with the element Earth, Pandora said, which is another reason why I felt you would be a good fit at our house of night. This really is the gateway of the West. Here, the mysterious, mysterious, mysterious and majestic of the wonderful, untamed spirit, Earth spreads an eager invitation before us, something thought you would appreciate and find compelling. I do, but I do not claim to have an affection Earth affinity. Anastasia said, I allow that I feel a strong connection to the land, and sometimes when I feel especially fortunate, the Earth lends me some of her power. Panera nodded and continued to sip on her wine. You do know that many priests do not discover they have a true affection for one of the elements until they have served the gods for many decades. You may have yet find that the earth has indeed been gifted to you with a full-fledged affinity. You are still very young, Anastasia. Please do not take offense at my question, but exactly what is your true age? You do not look barely old enough to have been marked. That alone, you have been through the change, Diana said, tempting her rather harsh question with a smile. Diana. Diana's voice was gentle, but her look was tightened with disapproval as she frowned at her sternly beautiful mate. I did not invite Anastasia here to interrogate her. No, I did not mind the question, priestess. Actually, I'm becoming used to it, she said to Pandora. Then she turned her gaze to Diana. Anastasia lifted her chin just a little. I am 22 years old. My mentor priestess in Pennsylvania told me that she believed me to be the young priestess in America to be made a full professor. It is an honor I will try to live up to being the diligent and serious about my classroom and my students. Daughter, I have no doubt you're diligent and serious but what I would like you to do earth to earth some as well, Pandora said. Earth some? Forgive me, priestess. I do not know what that word I do know that take the curse of the earth. Be very like a glass of wildflowers, bird like a field of wheat, uh, as an archer of rock peaks. Do not simply like feel connected to the land or priest professor. No need for you to dress like an obsessed woman. School marm, Diana added. I I do not want to appear furious, Anastasia admitted, hastily glancing down at the high neck adorned bras and straight, long skirt she worn in all since she joined the Tower Grove House at night and began teaching 2 weeks ago. I'm so close in age to my students that it's difficult for them to remember I'm a professor. Hadar added in understanding, but the simple truth is that you are close to the age of many of our flesh ones. My advice is to make that a strength rather than something against which you battle. I agree, Diana said. Use your youth as an assist instead of trying to hide it behind clothes of your elders who have decent taste you would never think of wearing. She paused and grunted at first at the flowing, flowing Grayson style gown she wore, and then at the high waist Spanish style contour and the prone neckline of the white lace blouse her maid wore. Anastasia, what Diana is trying to convey to you is that there's nothing wrong with being young. Pilar picked up the thread of the conversation. I am quite sure of the female legends feel comfortable coming to you with concerns they would not have the urge to mention to any of the rest of us. Anastasia sighed in relief. Having been given the perfect opportunity to speak of what was foremost on her mind, yes, they have already proven true. It's actually what I sought you out this night. Pandora frowned. Is there a problem among the students I should be made aware of? You mean one of the other than just Bendel? Dinah said the name of as if just speaking it left a bitter taste in her mouth. Bendel is a problem for us all, vampires and students alike, especially since the misguided humans of St. Louis made him their sheriff. Pandora said, then her gaze nature as she studied Anastasia. Has he been harassing our fledglings? No, not that I know of. Anastasia paused and swallowed past the dryness in her throat, trying to order her thoughts so that her high priestess would find value in her words. The Flanshines do not like Sheriff Bundle, but he is not the focus of the conversation. Someone else is. Someone else Someone else's, in my opinion, is he is creating quite a problem within the House of Night itself. Who has you so where the fledgling they call Dragon Langford. And as they said, both vampires were silent for too many beats of Anastasia's heart. Then it appeared as if Dana tried to conceal a smile by taking a long drink of her wine while Pandana carved an eyebrow at Anderson. Dragon Langford, but he has been away from Tower Grove competing in the vampire games for the past 2 weeks. You and he have not met yet you say he is somewhat creating a problem for you? No, not for me. Well, yes, I suppose the problem does have to do with me, though it isn't exactly mine. Anastasia rubbed her forehead. Wait, I'll start again. You asked if there was a problem among the students I know of because I'm close enough to an age to the fledglings that they may feel comfortable talking with me. My answer is yes. I do know of a problem, and it has been created by what I can only call an obsession with this fifth former the students called Dragon. Diana didn't try to hide her smile any longer. He is dynamic and very popular, especially with the female fledglings. Pandora added in case in point, he just bested all of his opponents, fledglings and vampires alike, to win the Government title Sword Master at the Vampire Games. It's almost unheard of in our history of for freshmen to have won such a title. Yes, I know of his victory. It is all the girls could talk of today, Anastasia said wearily. You see this as a problem. Dragon's showmanship is impressive already. He has just beat the Diana. Though would not surprise me to see the barbarian said, I agree with Diana. There is nothing unusual about the earth being destroyed by dragons. The high priest is smile. When you meet him, you two may understand their doors to start. It is not simple distraction that concerns me, Anastasia explained quickly. It is the fact that one as close of school this night, a total of 15 fledgling, 13 boys and 2 girls have come to me one at a time, begging me for love spells with which to ensure Dragon Lamford. Anastasia was relieved that this time the silence of the two women was filled with an expression of shock and surprise instead of amusement. Finally, Pandana spoke. This news is disappointing, but sadly so. The freshmen are aware of my passing on love spells. They are foolish and can be dangerous. Love spells can be spelled or cruel. The high priestess shook her head, obviously annoyed at the freshmen. Then I would like you to teach a lesson in this coming week.
Hey, when you get a chance, I gotta make a phone call.
Okay, I shouldn't be too much longer.
All right.
I got like 1, 2, 3, 4 pages.
All right, baby.
Teach a lesson in this coming week on what happens when obsession is mistaken for love. Donna nodded. Perhaps I should begin with the story of Hercules and his obsession with the vampire high priestess. A practicing in the tragic end of that part for both of them. It's a constant tale they should honor but have completely seriously forgotten. An excellent idea. Pandana turned her wide brown eyes on Anna. I'm assuming your response to those inappropriate requests have been to remind the mistaken fleetlings that under no circumstances you will perform any type of love spells for them. And it drew a deep breath. No, princess, that was not my response. Not your response. Why would you? Diana began, but her mates raised her hand, and cut her off. Explain was all they However, in the standard met the vampire's gaze only. I too have no use for lost spells. Even when I was first met Mark and began to show talent in spell work, my instinct told me love spells were dishonest. I am experienced but not naive. I know love cannot exist with dishonesty. Insightful, yet not an explanation. The young professor straightened her spine, shifted her gaze higher. You're calling for dynamic and popular, but did you not? I did. Why would you also say he's arrogant? Diana lifted one shoulder. I suppose I would, but that is not unusual. Most of our most talented warriors have a sense of arrogance about them. The sense of arrogance, yes, but it is not tempted with the experience and control of an adult vampire Anastasia act. Yes, it is, she agreed. Anastasia nodded and then her gaze went back to her high priestess. There has been much talk of this dragon. I have listened carefully. You are right when you say I do not know him. But when what I have heard of him is that Dragon Langford is a physician who relies on his sword and smile rather than his wisdom and wits. My instincts, instincts tells me that if my faster students saw this fledgling for who he really is, they would soon lose interest. What exactly did you tell the fledgling? Padera said. I told him I could not possibly break the rules of this house of night and cast a love spell, but what I can do is create a drawing spell for each one of them. There is a fine line between drawing a spell and a love spell. Yes. Then the lines create clarity, honesty, honesty, and truth. Anastasia reported. But I have a feeling each student who has come to you as being clear and honest and truthful about one dragon. Langford's love, Pandora, acts looking disappointed in her young professor. Therefore, casting a drawing spell on Dragon wouldn't work as a love spell. Simultaneously, because only the students might smile. You will make the friends dragon with more clarity. It will draw each of them a vision of fledgling Langford that is honest and truthful, and not tended by childish and infestation with an inflated ego and a handsome smile. It could work, Diana said, but the spell will take finesse and skill. My instinct tells me my instinct tells me our young professor has both a plenty. Granted for your confidence in me, priestess, Anastasia said, almost shouted in relief. Then she stood. With your permission, I would like to cast the spell tonight during the full moon. Pandera nodded in agreement. It is the perfect time for endings. You have my permission, daughter. It is my intent to end any unhealthy infections tonight, Anastasia said, fisting her hand over her heart and bowing to her higher priestess and her mate. You might not end all of the infections with dragon tonight. Some may still be drawn to that arrogant smile and the two-signal charm, Diana called after her. Then that person deserves exactly what she gets, Anastasia muttered. We will start on chapter 4 tomorrow. Chapter 4 does not have a title. So that will be it. Yes, I have a towel on my head to help me dry my hair because I had just taken a bath. That's it for now. So goodbye. See y'all next time, and I love you.